Welcome back to Tiny Blue Games. My name is, of course, Csaw or Chris, and today we're talking about myself in 2022. There will likely be some Final Fantasy XIV footage in the background, probably just me tanking something again, just something casual. It'll probably be extremely rusty, even more so than my normal tanking, because I haven't played a video game in the past 2 or 3 weeks. And yeah, that's what we're going to be talking about. Just what I've been up to, how life has been without video games or really any kind of active entertainment. And yeah, just checking in. There'll probably be a video today as well as tomorrow. I had made a second episode to my World of Warcraft Classic series. It was pretty much almost ready to launch right before I had the issues with my eyes, and I was going to launch it right away, but I felt it was weird having a video that in no way referenced the fact that I've been gone for several weeks with the first thing I posted, so I wanted to do a quick update video first, and essentially that's what this is. So for those of you who haven't seen the post I made a few weeks back, I did have a detached retina, which required surgery, and with that required several weeks of recovery time. It was particularly interesting. Nothing weird happened to me. I was just going about regular life with a little bit of a flicker at the top of my vision. And with that, I went to the optometrist to say, hey, my vision's a little bit weird. We went through all the normal tests, and they were like, everything looks fine. A couple hours after that, they were going through some of the more in-depth photos they take of your eye, where you put your eye and the machine does a big kind of scan with a green light or something like that. Apparently in that, they were able to see that the retina was starting to detach. I don't know exactly how detached it was, but it did require surgery. And apparently that's a pretty immediate surgery when your retina's starting to detach. So it was booked the next day. I went there, waited a little while for the surgery, quite a few days of just kind of starving myself in preparation for it, and then not getting it, which was a lot of fun. But then it did happen, and we got into the recovery phase. So the recovery phase is pretty decent. You actually don't have much pain or anything associated with the actual procedure. The eye was maybe a little sore for the day or two afterwards, but the bigger thing is that my vision was actually more messed up in the eye post-surgery than it was going into that, and that's actually kind of expected because they're going pretty deep into your eye or changing things in your eye, and with that, it's pretty traumatic for the eye, so they have a bit of recovery time. It was quoted as 2 to 3 weeks, assuming everything goes well. And the big thing with that is that you're trying to limit both physically jarring your eye, so any kind of activity that would make you shake your head or sort of jerk you to the side or something like that. So you're trying to mostly sit or lie or stand and kind of just play it pretty chill. Now, what I didn't have, which a lot of people do, there's kind of several different surgeries, but one of them is to get gas put into your eye or oil. And with that, you typically actually have to keep your head facing downwards afterwards. I didn't end up getting that surgery. So luckily, there was no specific position I had to be in. So I could sit, I could lay, I could do whatever as long as it was pretty chill, which was kind of nice. And then the other big part, which was more impactful to me, was that you aren't really able to do any activities that strain your eyes too much. With that, anything that's reading or moving your eye side to side, so video games and work, were kind of on the no list for a while, which was unfortunate. It was, I guess, in some ways nice that I was able to have a restful time. I've been able to do a lot of laying about and kind of sleeping and stuff, but it's been, near the end of it, it got quite tedious, especially as your eye got better. Once your eye started feeling like it was more normal and you still couldn't do the things you're kind of used to doing, it became quite difficult. But like a lot of the activities I did were listening to audiobooks. Actually, that was the primary thing I did was listening to audiobooks. I don't know if it's a global app, but certainly some countries have access to this app called Libby. It's an app that connects to libraries and lets you take out audiobooks, very similar to how you would take out regular library books. And it's been an absolute lifesaver for the past couple of weeks. I've been able to download a lot of books that have been on my list and just sort of sit there listening to them, which has been great. I am able to do a little bit of TV, but that's pretty much the most extreme thing I'll do for my eye. And the reason TV is okay, but video games aren't, is that typically it's more of a passive thing for TV where you're further away from the screen, especially in the case of computer games, and your eye isn't moving as much as, if you're trying to track specific items and stuff like that, depending on the game. Obviously, I'm sure you probably shouldn't watch like a tennis match or something like that on a TV close to it where your eye's going back and forward. But yeah, so that's kind of what I was able to do. But even then, my eye got quite tired after I'd even say like 45 minutes to an hour of TV, and I'd go back to just listening to things or lying there, thinking about things. That was another thing I did. I had a lot of time to think about different projects and stuff, which is always fun. It's always fun, but it's always difficult because I dream up all of these different projects I'd like to do, and then once I get back to work and doing the stuff I normally do, I find that I don't have this tremendous amount of time anymore, right? So it's kind of a tricky thing that way, where it's great to think of all these things, but then also thinking about what's realistic, right? But yeah, it's given me a really good time to relax and reflect. I'd say my eye's doing pretty well. It's still a little bit of an extended recovery, specifically in terms of physical activities. That kind of extends past the 2 to 3 weeks of eye rest, so that I can't go to the gym or like do any kind of very physical thing that might jostle or put pressure on my eye for a little bit. So there's a little bit of a more extended window that way, but hopefully everything's good. I think the biggest thing was just that it happened without reason, really, or at least there's not a reason that anyone's been able to provide as to why it happened. It's not like I was in some sort of accident that kind of shook my head violently. Like that's typically how these things happen. There's, kind of a jerking motion, and that's what causes the retina to detach. But nothing like that really stands out in the last little while for me. So I think it was more of just a gradual wear and tear kind of thing. But yeah, that's where we are. I just wanted to post this video, give a quick update. It should be, fairly back to business as usual as we get into the next couple months here, doing more content with Final Fantasy XIV, more live streams pushing forward the MSQ, as well as working towards completing our Dark Knight job quests in preparation for finally starting Shadowbringers. That'll be good. Some more Guild Wars 2 content as usual, trying to keep up with that on more of a monthly basis, and then trying to continue the World of Warcraft Classic series as well. Despite the fact that we've had a pretty serious delay in the first to second episode, I do have a fair bit of content to get through for the next few episodes. So hopefully there won't be quite the delay that we saw there. But yeah, hopefully you've all had a good couple of weeks as well. Let me know how you've been doing. I always look forward to chatting with all of you again. It was definitely nice to have Mrs. Csaw read through those comments on the post, just wishing me well and stuff like that. Always means a lot to hear from you guys as well. So thanks for everything as always. Hopefully you have a great rest of your day, and I'll talk to you in the next video. Thanks.